Hey guys, it's Izzy here, and today we are going to be doing the Get to Know Me Bookish edition. So this is a tagged video. I haven't done a tagged video in quite some time, so I do have a little cheat sheet here, so I know what my answers are, so I know what I'm going to be saying. Some of these are IDK, I don't know. So that's just a little disclaimer before the video. Let's get into this video. So down below I am going to have a link for the blog post that I'm using to get the questions. Now I don't know if this is the original blog post or what, but this is just the one that I am using, and I was not tagged by anybody to do this video. But yeah, so our first question is, what or who got you into reading? So what got me into reading? We're talking about like the second time go around of when I'm getting into reading again. Because obviously when you learn to read, that's like a requirement basically in school. So that's, you're kind of forced into it. But when I started reading again on my own, it was the Game of Thrones series, because I started watching the show, so I wanted to read the books. And so the Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin is what got me into reading again. So our next question is your first favorite book. So again, this is like, if we're talking about when I was a kid, we are going to go with Harry Potter, and this is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and this is my Ravenclaw edition, because I am a Ravenclaw, if y'all were not aware. And so it just has the blue and yellow, and this is a 20 Years of Harry Potter Magic edition. So this is like for my childhood, but going into adulthood, it would be A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin would be my favorite book as an adult, or I think that's the question. I don't know what the question was, because I have terrible memory and my phone is terrible. So yeah, my first favorite book as an adult would be A Storm of Swords, but as a child it would probably be Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So my current favorite book, we had The Nightingale by Christian Hannah, which I don't have on me, so picture on the screen, which is such a good book, and it's a really good book. And then my other one is a release from 2019, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I feel like this is a really basic answer, but both of those books are really basic answers. But I love rock and roll, and that's what this book is all about. A lot has been compared to VH1 Behind the Music, which is one of my favorite documentary series things. I watch so many bands on there. And yes, so this book is kind of like an interview format, which I was not sure if I'd like, but I literally read this book in like 3 days, so I'm really proud of myself. And this is actually the European edition. I got it from Amazon UK, but it shipped from Germany. And on the inside, we have all these ticket stubs, and we actually have the Atlanta Stadium right there. I saw Guns N' Roses in concert there. And I just love seeing all these different venues, like Winterland Arena, Madison Square Garden, Mid-South Coliseum, which I think that is Memphis. But I have not been in Memphis, so I can't tell you. So my favorite book of all time. This is one that I really do not know the answer to, because there's so many good books. And again, I've only just gone to reading again since I graduated high school, and I graduated in I think it was like the first week of June of 2018. So after I got out of high school, which that's a lie. I would say I got into reading more in the start of my senior year of high school, because that's when I did start reading the Game of Thrones and watching Game of Thrones. So I'm not sure exactly of what I would consider the right answer to that question. So my least favorite book of all time, this is one I'm not 100% on. There are some books that I've read that I did not like, but none of them are really like mainstream books that I think y'all would know. Thorn in My Heart, I don't even remember who wrote that book. That's the worst book I've read this year. It's a Christian fiction Scottish novel. I didn't really like Jane Eyre that much. I talked about that in last week's video. The Bear and the Nightingale I didn't like, so yeah. An author that I dislike or hate, no, I don't really dislike or hate any authors. No, I don't really look into the authors' lives, so that's why I'm really scared when I read nonfiction books that they're going to be by a politician or somebody and I don't know it, and I'm like, people are going to hate on me for liking this book, because I read Boris Johnson's book, and he's like the prime minister or something of the UK right now, but when I read the book, that was before all this happened, so I was like, if he is controversial, I'm really sorry. I don't know. I'm just reading this book because it's about the history of the city of London. Yeah, so you can't really change the history of London. It's fact. So, yeah, I'm only scared that I'm going to get in trouble. So, and what authors do I like or love? Kristen Hanna for me, which again, she wrote The Nightingale, and I have another book by her right here, but I have not read it yet. And The Great Alone is another book that I really like by her, but this is Firefly Lane. I really love her writing. I really love her writing. Yeah, that sounds grammatically correct. And then I just love her stories. They're always good. And this is set in the 70s, or it starts out in the 70s in the Pacific Northwest. A lot of her books take place in the Northwest. And I really miss Seattle and Washington State in general. Like, Seattle's probably the perfect city for me to move to, but I feel like it's too hipster for me. Yeah. Okay, and the other author I love, I'm putting a picture of her book on the screen, and we have a book by her right there, but Kate Morton. I love The Clockmaker's Daughter. Highly recommend that book. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So a popular book that I hate is The Bear and the Nightingale. I talked about it earlier. That's why I was really scared to go into the book I'm reading to right now, because it's magical realism, that I was like, what if I just hate magical realism? Because I didn't like The Bear and the Nightingale at all. That book took me forever to read, and part of it was probably because I was at spring training and I wasn't at home, so I was in Florida and I wasn't really I was reading some, but I wasn't reading a lot. I was at baseball stadiums all the time, so I wasn't reading. I was either at baseball or the beach, so that, I don't know if it was just because the atmosphere I was in that I wasn't enjoying it, and then I got really sick. So I don't know if that had anything to play in it, or I just didn't like the story. And it's a historical fiction novel set in Russia, so I feel like I should really like that. But I just didn't like it. I don't know why. So, how many books do you read in a month? I read 4 to 5 books in a month. Now, August was a different story because, again, I was traveling. Thank you, baseball. And this past weekend was, or basically this whole past week has been NASCAR. So I've just been doing so much in August, and I've just been so tired. And yeah, I only read like 3 books this month, and one was a graphic novel. So what do you do to get you through a reading slump, which I am in a reading slump right now as I film this, even though the book I'm reading right now, and I should finish tomorrow, is going to be a 5-star, but I just try to push through it. I don't do anything special. It's just, I make myself read, and eventually, like the book I'm reading right now is a book I really like, and that will encourage me just to read more if it's something that I like. So, my favorite genre is historical fiction. As you can tell, probably behind me, the majority of these books are historical fiction. I love it. There was a table at Barnes & Noble, I think it was may have been July actually, and it was like, why is history important? Now, this is a big question. I know a lot of people hate history, but you have to learn from the past to learn from our mistakes to go into the future. So I do think history is very important. And something I look for in novels is that all of us are the same. All humans are the same. We all have feelings and all that. And you can see that from a story that takes place in like the Roman Empire to today. We all had those same feelings and emotions. So going into my least favorite genre. So my least favorite genre, I don't really have one, because I read a ton of different stuff, and there's nothing that I really hate, but I do, I'm going to say YA, even though probably the majority of the stuff is YA, I do, like, I don't hate it, but it's the one that I would say I prefer least to read, even though I do read about 1 YA book a month. I just prefer adult, and it's nothing bad, I don't know. So how many bookshelves do you have? Or do you own? I'm not counting like 1, 2, 3. I'm just counting, I have this bookcase, and then I have another bookcase, so I have 2 bookcases. My Goodreads challenge or reading goal for this year is 50 books. I'm at 44 right now, and I think that's one of the later questions in this. But yeah. So my favorite characters, we are going back over here with Game of Thrones. Jon Snow is my all-time favorite character. He has such a great story. I'm not going to go into why, because I don't want to give you all spoilers, but he has a great story. And I do think the TV show messed it up. Season 8 did, but we're not going to get into that. And then Darth Vader, if you're like, that's not a book character, there are books based on Star Wars and comics. So Darth Vader, he has such a tragic story. That's that. And then Daisy Jones from Daisy Jones and the Six, another character where at the time I wouldn't say she's my favorite, because I think Billy's my favorite character in the book, but it's Daisy Jones in general. Like, yeah, I just really like her. And then Isabel from the Nightingale. I don't have the Nightingale down there. She's one of my favorites just because she's rebellious and trying to do what's right, even though in a lot of people's eyes it's not right. So, or it's not something a woman should be doing. So, least favorite characters, again, something I don't really know because I try to block out those people out of my mind. So, I don't really know who my least favorite characters would be. So, how many books have you read so far this year? Again, I've read 44, and some of those have been graphic novels and whatnot. And then one children's book, which is The Ice Dragon by George R.R. Martin. So, and then the rest have been just novels. So, my favorite book turned into a movie, TV show, but A Game of Thrones again. This is a Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. A Game of Thrones. I love it, even though I wasn't really happy with the ending, but it's still my favorite. So, my least favorite book turned into a movie, Game of Thrones Season 8. No, I'm joking. No, I don't really have a least favorite. So, do you want to be an author, or are you content to just be a reader? I would love to be an author, but I can't put my thoughts on paper. Like, I can make this whole big story in my mind. I can make the sense of the characters and all that, but I just can't put it all into a story. So, yeah, I would have to have a co-writer or a ghostwriter or something if I was to be an author, because there's all these thoughts happening, and it's like, I can't get it down on paper. I don't know how to necessarily do that. So if you have any tips, let me know. So, books that made you cry. The Nightingale, it didn't make me cry, but it did leave me really emotional. Yeah, books never really made me cry. A book / writing related job that you would love to do. I'm not really sure. Again, I would love to be an author. But yeah, I just explained all that why I couldn't. So do I consider myself a fast reader? So I give myself 5 days to finish a book. So on BookTube standards, I don't think I'm a fast reader. But people I know in real life consider me one. So by BookTube standards, no, but by my friend group, yes. So do you have book buying bans for yourself? No, but I probably should look at all that stock. That doesn't have room on my bookshelf. So do you use bookmarks a lot? Yes, I use bookmarks on every single book that I read. So the camera just shut me off. I don't know why, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. Bye, guys.